Hello everyone and welcome to another SWTOR Q&A video. We've been offline for quite a while, so sometimes it takes a little while for me to answer them. So we're going to answer this one with a video because it's quite a good question. It was a private message that we received. I did send a reply to the person, text reply, but I am going to do a video on it because I think it's an interesting subject. Basically wanted to know that which class is better to play. He wants to play either as a Scoundrel, good choice, or a Vanguard, another good choice, really. No Marauder or Sentinel, I like that. Play through the vanilla story and the expansion stories. So, not a raider, obviously, so no, doesn't care about raiding. Well, that's fine, you can play a Scoundrel if you don't care about raiding. Take it PvP is the same, I would suggest. PvP is probably the same. So just a story, which is better to play as? The Scoundrel, which is a smuggler, or the Vanguard, which is a trooper? Now for the vanilla story, I would say the Scoundrel probably is the better. I prefer the smuggler story to the trooper story. The trooper story was boring. Basically, go to Garza. No, I don't want to go to fucking Coruscant. I had to get myself a Coruscant stronghold just to finish the trooper story, just because it was go to fucking Coruscant every 2 minutes. No, I hated that story. The smuggler one's pretty nice. You play a female smuggler, always pick the sarcastic dialogue option. I like the female smuggler. I love the way she delivers the lines. Very sarcastic, really. So I would go with the smuggler generally for the vanilla. For the expansions, a lot of the expansions, it doesn't matter, really, just which class you prefer playing. Although I will point out that Knights of the Fallen Empire is awful as a Scoundrel. It's dreadful, okay? It is one of the worst leveling experiences I've had. I couldn't finish Chapter 10 as a Scoundrel. I got so pissed off, I just had to Alt F4. So pissed off. The big problem with Knights of the Fallen Empire is the enemies start the encounter. And that's not what we want as a Scoundrel, okay? Both DPS specs as a Scoundrel, we want to start the encounter. In Scrapper, using Backblast gives us upper hand. So we want to be using Backblast. And it also doesn't really tie into the lore of being a sneaky Scoundrel. You know, we want to start the fight. That's the whole point. We fight on our terms, okay? BioWare don't seem to get this. I know you're not going to die to these trash mobs. You can pull every single trash in the area. I did that. I did it as a sniper, and I was engineering sniper, and I just like went around the entire area, and it's like I'm just gonna pull everything and then go to a corner and just wait till everyone to catch me and then just AoE everything. That's what I'm gonna do with that spec. It's like screw this. I'll put Kaleo on passive. And then I'll wait till everything gathers at the corner and then put her into... I had her as a tank, obviously, because, you know, agent story, you know, old school. Doing that old school Imperial agent story with Kaleo as your tank. Keeps all the mobs in the one spot for your AoE as a sniper. But anyway, that's the sniper one. So it's not as if you're going to die. It's not as if it's difficult. It's just a pain in the arse because you're losing damage. And I don't like that. I like to play the class at least sort of properly. For the Ruffian spec, of course, you get a damage buff. Point blank shot if it's used from stealth. It's like, fuck you, Ruffian Scoundrels. We don't care about you. We care about the story. We don't care about one of our fucking classes in the game, BioWare. Really, but that is, I would suggest, so it's kind of a, ooh, you get the Fallen Empire and hate the game. As a Shadow, it's pretty much the same, but as a Shadow, it's not a huge deal not starting from stealth, because you know you can get away with it as a Shadow. But as a Scoundrel, it really annoys me. It's like this whole story-driven game, and they don't give a shit about one of their classes. You know, the Operative is the same as well. Operative is the exact same. You know, that's one of their classes in the game that they clearly just do not give a shit about. It's not much of an issue for a Vanguard. A Vanguard, if we can't leap at the enemy, it's not a big deal. Okay, if the enemy comes towards us, fair enough, we can pull the enemy in. We've got a harpoon. You know, we can always pull the enemy towards us, that's fine. As a shadow tank, it's not really a huge issue as a shadow tank. The only one it might be an issue in is deception. That's an issue because you lose out on force regeneration, but it shouldn't. It's not huge because most mobs in Fallen Empire are going to be dead in a few seconds anyway. You're not going to hit force management issues in that spec, you know, in Knights of the Fallen Empire. You'll probably get through fighting an elite enemy or a strong enemy. You probably get through maybe what, a third of your rotation before it's dead. Generally, such as the enemies just fall over in Fallen Empire, but it does piss me off as a Scoundrel. It really annoys me. Chapter 10, I couldn't finish. It was so bad. I hated every single encounter. I hated it. Absolutely hated this game after a while. As a Vanguard, it isn't so bad, really, because you don't really care. As a Marauder, I did Chapter 10 as a Marauder. I don't really care that things leap to you, you know, because you can always just use your battering assault to generate rage. It is a bit annoying, though, if you're a Fury Marauder, but I did it as Carnage. Yeah, Carnage. Yeah, Carnage is the non-dot one. Annihilation is the dot one. I did it as a Carnage Marauder, so I found it's not too bad, really, as Carnage. It just gets the enemy dead quicker. It's like, oh, you're going to leap to me? Fair enough. But quite annoying. I wish they would take those things out. I guess they don't want you to skip mobs, but seriously, if you don't want us to skip mobs, make them challenging. Here's the thing, make it a bit of a challenge, because the mobs, they're just speed bumps. That's all they are in Knights of the Fallen Empire. This has turned into a Fallen Empire rant, really. But, you know, for the vanilla story, probably go with the Smuggler. Go with the Smuggler through vanilla and then buy a level 60 Vanguard. There, that's probably the best of both worlds. You'll get to experience the Smuggler story, which is alright. You know, it's pretty decent. If you like Han Solo, you're basically Han Solo. You know, so Trooper 1 is kind of meh. I don't like it. It's my least favourite of all the stories, is the Trooper one. And I only finished it sort of 2 weeks before Knights of the Fallen Empire came out. It's like I had to buy Coruscant Stronghold in order to do it. And it's like, that was just 2 weeks before Fallen Empire, just to get my legendary player status. And we main a Vanguard in this expansion, and honestly could not stand the story. Like, I don't think I ever did Eclipse Squad. I don't think I ever did that quest. It was the story quest for Shadow of Revan. I don't think I've ever done it. I don't know if it's still available after finishing Fallen Empire. But I don't know. I don't know, really. You do get a class quest in Knights of the Fallen Empire. Not Knights of the Fallen, Shadow of Revan, I should point out, if you're going through the expansions. Most of the expansions are the same regardless of class, so pick the class you like best for the expansion. It doesn't really matter which class you pick. None of the classes in the game are not viable. The Scoundrel is just annoying, okay? It's not as if you're going to die or struggle with any of the fights in Fallen Empire. You're just going to get pissed off. You're just going to get pissed off because you're going to lose that upper hand. I mean, it doesn't sound like a big deal, but it is a pain in the arse, okay? It hurts our bursts. And, you know, that may be a reason why the end game is in such a state, because, you know, we're being encouraged to play badly as a Scoundrel. Because BioWare doesn't give a shit about this class. They clearly don't. They clearly don't give a shit about it. Okay? I know it's the least played class in the game, but you can at least pretend to care about the Scoundrel and acknowledge its existence, for God's sakes. I will be trying the Eternal Championship as a Scoundrel. I'm gonna have to do that, and I'm gonna have to finish Chapter 10. Oh God, I don't want to do it. I'm gonna have to put myself through that. And Chapter 11 to get to the Eternal Championship whenever it comes out. Or I could just go on the PTS, I guess, and test it out. That's one thing we're certainly going to do, is go on the PTS and test out the Eternal Championship as a Scrapper Scoundrel. And I want to be impressed as a Scrapper Scoundrel. I don't want mobs starting combat. I don't mind if we're already in combat. As long as I can exit combat, then fair enough. But the advantage of being a stealther, if you're doing a lot of the heroics and things like that, is that you can skip a lot of the trash as a stealth class. So, you know, it's something to consider, really. Something that I would consider as an advantage, as being a stealther. Vanguard, you just hit things in the face. Stab things, smash things with your stock strike, and they go down fairly easily. But anyway, I hope that answers your question. So, it is a double-edged sword, really. There's advantages and disadvantages to both. The Vanguard on the plus side, Fallen Empire is pretty decent on it, if you can call it decent. The downside is the Trooper story is pretty awful. You could just skip the Trooper story, I guess, and just play through the game, but then again, the story is the big appeal to it. However, the Scoundrel, the smuggler story, is pretty decent. Has some good dialogue in it, some nice one-liners if you pick the sarcastic option. Female Scoundrel, pick the sarcastic option. Recommend it, it's pretty good. The downside is Knights of the Fallen Empire is god-awful. Okay, so there you go. So anyway, that is all for this video, so thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again soon, and goodbye.